Let's talk about NBA betting picks for Thursday. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a great day so far. My apologies for not posting yesterday. Just got totally bogged down at work. As a lot of you know, I work these crazy hours and it's hard to get videos out sometimes. Now I'm going to continue to try to do my best, but did miss yesterday, unfortunately. I went 2-1 with my bets personally, in case anybody cares. We went 1-2 the last time we were here on the channel, but man, that was a crazy day. And it speaks to how hot we've been that it takes a day like that to throw us off of our game. We started off by winning the Orlando Magic bet, easy read. Then we had the Boston Celtics -8 against the Cavs. They were up by 22 going into the fourth quarter. Not only do they lose outright, the whole Boston Celtics team lost to Dean Wade in the fourth quarter, 20-17. Not Dwayne Wade, Dean Wade. They lost 20-17 to one player. So that was something. And then later on in the day, we had Alperen Sengun drop a career-high 45 points on Victor Wembanyama, who still had 7 blocks in the game as the Spurs failed to cover when we did have them on the spread. So 1-2 the last time we were here on the channel. We are going to try to get back into the green with these picks that I've got here today. And I've got 3 of them. And guys, before I jump into those though, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Really helps me out. And I love seeing all you guys joining the community. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and let's talk about these picks. And by the way, I am going to try to speed these up a little bit. I've been watching some of the videos back and I realized that I do tend to ramble on a little bit. So we're just going to try to slim it down, stick to the key information, and maybe just spend like 1 or 2 minutes per pick, 1 or 2 minutes on each pick. But yeah, let's go ahead. Let's jump in. My first pick of Thursday is going to be the Indiana Pacers -1.5 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. So the Timberwolves are going to be without Karl Anthony Towns in this game. That is pretty significant because, as we know, the weakness of the Pacers is their interior presence. They allow the second most points in the paint per game, just behind the Washington Wizards, who allow the most. Cat dropped 40 points in the only matchup between these two teams earlier in the season. That was an 18-point win at home for the Timberwolves, but no Cat is going to make a big difference here, and that's probably why you're seeing the line not only with Timberwolves as a low favorite, but actually as an underdog here. Indy's defense is continuing to improve. They're 20th in defensive rating over their last 10 games, allowing about 115.5 points per 100 possessions. Not good, but certainly a lot better than it used to be. The offense is also second in rating during that time, just behind the Boston Celtics. So if that's going to be the trade-off, that you go second in offense, 20th on defense, but the defense is still improving, then you're going to be able to live with that. Both these teams are playing at about an equal level since the All-Star break. They ranked 10th and 11th in net rating since the All-Star game. The Pacers are very good at home, which obviously is important because this game is in Indiana. They actually have a better home rating than the Wolves do on the road, which is funny because the Wolves have been one of the more consistent teams in the league, been up at the top of the West for the majority of the season, and Indy fell off. I mean, they went from, I think they were as high as second, either second or third in the East, all the way down to like 7th, 8th when Tyrese Halliburton was out. Yet, despite those inconsistencies, they've still performed better at home than the Wolves have on the road. Now, you are going to need a good game from Halliburton. He's been very inconsistent shooting and scoring the ball recently, but at least he is still getting his assist numbers. And you know what? If he's scoring, then I feel like that pretty much guarantees a win for the Pacers here. So the Pacers -1.5 against the Wolves. That's where we're going with the first pick. The second pick is going to be the Miami Heat +4.5 against the Dallas Mavericks. Now, as you guys will know, I picked the Mavs like 5-6 games in a row, and I've repeatedly said you're going to see the biggest improvement in play from Dallas after the trade deadline compared to any team in the league. I want to know what happened to the Mavericks. I want to know what happened to them. They looked awesome. And then, ever since the All-Star break, they have the worst defense in basketball. They are 30th and by far the worst. They are allowing 15 more points per 100 possessions than the Miami Heat are. That is ridiculous. If you look at the worst defense for the year as a whole and the best defense for a year as a whole, I think the gap between those is 12 to 14 points. Again, just between Dallas and Miami, it's 15 points since the All-Star break. That speaks to how bad Dallas has been. I want to know what we're going to get from Luka in this game. It wouldn't be surprised me if Luka just refuses to pass and goes for 40 or 50 points here, because he has dropped a 37-plus point triple-double in 3 straight games, and the Mavericks lost all of them. You compare that to a team that like Miami that is playing really well on both sides. They're getting better. They've won 7 of their last 8 games. They are 9th in offensive rating since the All-Star break. They have the 2nd best road defensive rating, so you're continuing to see that team improve. Dallas does have the 5th best offense since the All-Star break, but with that defense playing the way it is, I just don't really know what you're going to be able to do with that. Jimmy Butler is continuing to step up his plays. That's been a big catalyst in the Heat's improvement. Duncan Robinson also very quietly becoming a very underrated facilitator. I believe the Heat are 10-1 when he has 5+ assists. His assist line tonight is at 3.5, so maybe 5 is still a little optimistic, but he has been trending in that direction since the All-Star break. His ability to operate out the pick and roll and be more than just a threat on a pin down or a curl action is definitely helping Miami improve. The Heat are 13-7 as a road underdog this season. That's obviously very important. And then Dallas, if my page will load here, Dallas is a home underdog. It's only 9-12 against the spread. So you're seeing the trends work in Miami's favor as well. I like the Heat at +4.5 for the second pick of the day. And then the big one, you know that I couldn't avoid this one. We got a potential NBA Finals preview. We've got the Boston Celtics on the road against the Denver Nuggets. And I'm taking the Nuggets. I like them on the money line. There's no point in my mind in laying the 1 point. You know, if we get a 1 point win, we don't want to push. We don't want to do all that hard work for nothing. We like the Nuggets on the money line in this one. So Denver won in Boston in January. Boston was 20-0 at home when that happened. They did that. The Nuggets did. They won that game despite only making 8 threes and shooting 26% from deep, which just speaks to how good of a team they are, how well executed and well drilled they are. Teams are pretty even in statistics. I mean, Boston is probably the more dominant team statistically, but Denver's up there in offensive rating. Net rating's not far behind. Assist to turnover ratio is pretty similar. Rebound rate is pretty similar. Where Boston is totally dominant is in the 3-point category. They make more threes than any team. They shoot the 4th highest percentage. They also allow the 2nd lowest percentage. Denver, 4th fewest threes per game, average in 3-point defense, average in 3-point offense as far as percentage goes. So that's the one area where you say, okay, this is pretty lopsided in Boston's favor. With that being said, Boston, although they are the best road team in basketball, 19-10 straight up, road rating of +6.5. Denver is 20. What are they at home? I should have written down their record. They have a home rating of +9. And then, oh gosh, this is a mess. I'm sorry. I gotta pull up the whole NBA standings. I should have had this prepared. Okay, here we go. The Denver Nuggets at home are 24-6. So just to say that again, Boston 19-10 on the road, Denver 24-6 at home. Boston +6.5 road rating, Denver +9 home rating. I think this is a matchup of Boston's versatility versus Denver's execution. You know, Boston, they continually exploit matchups on the offensive end, and they don't really have exploitations on the defensive end. They can switch everybody. If they want to keep Porzingis in a drop, they want to bring him to the level. If they want to go zone and put Jrue Holiday in the middle, if they want to have him shut down the on ball hand or the primary ball handler, they can do pretty much anything they want. Boston does average the 2nd most points per possession involving a post up, which again speaks to them trying to hunt these mismatches. So are they going to be able to find a way to get Jamal Murray on the post with Jason Tatum guarding him? Or are they going to get Kristaps Porzingis with a Michael Porter Jr., who has size but isn't a great defender? Those are the things you're going to want to look for. With all that being said, though, I said this is about Denver's execution, and that comes into a play, especially late in games. You know, Boston is 5th in clutch net rating, but they play at the slowest pace in the league by a mile when they are in the clutch, and I think that is more indicative than their actual rating, because when they get to the end of the game, they take these ill-advised shots. They rely so heavily on ISO ball. Really, if their best players in the clutch are really Derek White and Kristaps Porzingis, but they're not the guys who have the ball in their hands. It's a lot of Tatum and Brown, some Jrue Holiday, and it's just I've got real questions about Boston in the final 1 to 2 minutes of close games against teams that are either at or right next to their caliber. Because you got to remember, these stats that we're looking at for the year, those include when they play the Spurs and the Pistons and the Raptors and the Wizards and the Hornets and all those terrible teams. When they play those elite championship level teams, I trust a team like Denver, because when you've got all of the bevy of offensive actions that the Nuggets do have, and then you've got the ace in the hole of the Joker Murray 2-man game, that's probably the best and most unstoppable asset you can have in the fourth quarter. So I see this game being very close, and if we get to that final minute or two, I trust Denver to make the bigger plays down the stretch. So Nuggets money line. That is the third and final pick of the show. And guys, that's going to do it. Just to rehash, we have the Pacers -1.5 against the Timberwolves. We've got the Miami Heat +4.5 against the Dallas Mavericks, and then the Denver Nuggets money line against the Boston Celtics. Guys, that's going to do it for me today. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Like the video if you enjoyed. Comment. Let me know what your favorite plays of the day are. And I will catch you all in the next one. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day.